love it when I turn up the bass.
There you go. I wonder where I was getting that back through again. Yeah, just right. Hello, lads. Oh, somebody already in the chat already.
Probably one of us.
Well, cheers, welcome. Good
Of
health.
course it was one of us. Who else would it be? Oh,
Literally watching, and one of them's mate. Oh, there's three now.
Yeah, I just jumped in.
yeah. Don't worry. It'll all come together. Don't worry. Let's just get rid of all these phones bleeping and fucking going off. Sidetracking me. Distracting me from my professionalism.
Oh, fucking, you got production studios knocking down your door, mate.
No, I mean, fucking hell,
Yeah.
yeah. So, climate change. You all love climate change, don't you?
Oh,
Hello, Ram.
I can tell. I can just tell. So, do you want to watch this little video with Candice Owens and Josh Rogan going on about climate change, and then we'll see what the crack is?
Yeah, go on.
Been a better Joe.
Oh, let's
Seems
see if
like
we can
you-
hear it.
I didn't, and
You
I
don't
thought
think we have to care about the environment? Like, what do you,
no, not even a little bit. Like,
not even a little bit?
no. Okay, let me clarify this. I don't throw trash on the ground. Like, I'm
Okay.
not saying like we need to
Is that-
trash the environment. Like, but do I believe in climate change? No.
You don't believe in climate change?
Well, I think the climate always changes, I guess is what I should say. Do I believe that this is like, an issue that is being, that is global warming, which they've changed conveniently. They got rid of the word once scientists started disproving it. Now they only say climate change. No, I think that was just a way to extract dollars from Americans. I don't at all believe. They had no actionable plan. It was great for Trump to get out of that deal. It was terrible.
Okay, but this is an incredibly complicated subject.
Right.
Hang on, right, before he starts, you just heard Candice say what she believes, right? How many of her are on the same page as her?
mate.
Yeah,
Mate.
mate,
Yeah, totally.
maybe.
Right, so we're all coming from the same page then. We agree with Candice. Now, listen to the way this bloke now spins the fact that she hasn't got a degree in it onto why
Yeah.
she shouldn't have an opinion. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here we go.
And if you would have
You
to
still
talk
posted it,
to
though.
a bunch of different scientists and see how they gather data and see what they understand about CO2 levels and what's the danger of them
Right.
and what can combat it and what could not. Have you done all this, or
No,
do you
so I
take
think-
this flippant opinion
No,
based
listen,
on
I'm
the party
not. This
line?
is not. This wouldn't be the hill I died on, right? But it's not about the party. I just genuinely, I've read a ton about it, but
What
I
have
would
you
not
read?
be able to.
Based on
I would not be able to come to you and say like, this is my strong opinion. But here's like the easiest way to say this, right?
Okay.
The fact that there is a disparity in the science community about whether or not it's real is enough to.
It's very little.
Yep.
Very little disparity.
But-
Most
not true.
scientists, the
true.
vast majority
Nope.
agree
Strong
that
man
human
coming up.
beings are negatively affecting climate change.
Yeah,
The
And then
vast
show-
majority.
Is
yeah. I don't.
No,
I just don't
it's
think
not
so.
right.
So you
Well,
think
cool.
that the very few scientists that disagree with the
Yeah.
consensus
Oh,
are the ones that are
again, not
correct?
Well, I think if something is,
I think
it's
it's
either
all
subjective or it's
agenda,
objective,
all
and there are
written,
objective
and
truths,
why
right?
can't you
But
wake
it's subjective
up,
if you're
Joe?
saying that there are some.
Wake
And I don't think there's very.
up, Joe.
Sleepy Joe.
Joe.
Joe was a Bernie
wake
bro.
up.
What does he know?
Yeah, we're not all scientists, so we shouldn't have an opinion. Just remember that. That's his motto. But here's the thing:
Yeah.
all these scientists and whatnot, people put all this stuff out there, so you can go look at it. You don't need. It's like saying, well, I can
And
drive
also,
a car.
there's a huge
Does that
budget.
mean that? Because I can drive a car, don't make me a professor of driving a car, does it?
No, but
Any proclaimed, in inverted commas, scientist that says these words, the science is settled on that, they're not scientists because if
science is
they
never
were,
settled.
Yeah.
exactly,
I mean,
exactly. It's
to-
Yeah,
not.
to-
and
to
there's
do-
a huge budget that comes from the US government that funds climate change research,
right.
Well,
like $3 billion or something a year.
It seems to me that once you have something that can create a lot of money, the science seems to follow wherever the money stream tends to go.
Quite right. Quite right. You're paid to find what you're funded to find.
Talking about these climate, what is it? CO2, not CO2, the carbon credits.
Yeah.
Right, carbon credits, right? You pay to get extra credits. For what?
Yeah.
So, what are they going to get rid of your carbon when you pay all this money?
No, they're
No.
going to take your money and put it in the slot, and it's going to reduce.
They're going to let you have a fag.
Well, as Free State has explained on many occasions, the IPCC is all set up as a Ponzi scheme. It's really
Yeah,
not
but
hard to
we
work out
know
how they
that.
operate.
But the people out there don't.
Right.
So
Well,
explain it to them.
well, it's quite simple, any right?
Mhm.
You, as a business, right, create carbon. For instance, your business creates carbon, whether it's in haulage or whether it's in foundries or whatever it may be.
Dude.
You create a carbon footprint. Your business, and what they wanted you to do was for you to pay this company to tell you it's okay. Basically, you're going to pay this company, right? And they're going to tell you the carbon that you use is okay because we're going to offset it. We're going to offset your carbon by some other carbon. But the fact of the matter is, they can't create atmosphere, so they can't wipe out what you've created. So all it is a Ponzi scheme of you pay into me, I pay into that pays into that, and that pays into something else. None of it creates
then-
atmosphere.
The real kicker is they can then trade upon it on the fucking futures exchange.
So
Sorry, I
Can't
beg
trade anything on the
commodities
futures
exchange. I beg your pardon.
it's all about keep the money rolling, but you actually getting nothing in return for the money apart from a pat on the head going, yeah, there's a good boy, you've paid us like a dickhead, and we're going to tell you that your carbon footprint that you've created is okay now. The fact of the matter
There's a moratorium on the Chinese. Well, there still is a moratorium on the Chinese from the IPCC for their carbon credits, but I think that ends in imminently within the next few years. I know I read that, and so therefore the IPCC that's been offsetting it against the CCP or CCCP. They're going to get even more dollar.
I mean, the People's
It's
Democratic
Chinese.
Republic of China.
They're going to have to cough up.
Yeah. The Paris Accord and all that. I mean, Trump was like, I ain't having a bar of that. Because he could see that, hang on a minute, right? I'm going to pay you for what? What do I actually get other than a pat on the head? And you to make my virtue signalling company virtue signal brighter than the next man? If what do I tangibly get?
The atmosphere.
Yeah,
And
and not to mention that
the
the
answer's
fact
fuck
that
all.
the Yang signed the Kyoto Agreement, so that the next party will be embarrassed.
Mm.
To me, it makes no sense. And if we went carbon neutral, what are the plants going to live on? Because,
We've already been at carbon minimum before anyway, haven't we?
okay,
Yeah.
I
And
think
carbon
800
dioxide is what
I
plants
think
eat.
800 parts per million is something like 800 parts per million of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere.
Well,
Is the
it is also
average
that they want to
decent
extend.
And we've already dropped below that to a dangerous level in the past.
mean-
And also, Mount Etna, with the explosion, is 10,000 times more than we've ever produced in the whole entire existence of mankind.
now considering, I mean, some of you are fucking,
Just get fucked, cunts.
seen a fair few fucking decades in your time, right? So in
No,
your
I'm only
time, I dare say you've seen at least twice that you can mention where climate change, before that it was global warming, was imminent
Hey, climate
within 10
change-
years. Within 10
Climate
years, we're going to
change-
something
In
now.
output,
Next
you
global
must have
warming.
seen that in the 1850s.
Right?
Yeah.
Every 10 years, if you ain't going to do something now, but in 10 years' time, this is going to happen. 10 years' time comes, fuck all happens.
Yeah, in 2010, you know,
19
polar ice caps.
In
Yeah.
1987, I was told that within 10 years, Doncaster would be a seaside resort. Really?
Did you buy property?
That happened. Yeah, you buy property in Doncaster.
Luckily, that dam of shopping trolleys got in the way.
But it's like they keep saying this about.
Yes, Liz, the ozone layer. The ozone layer that they said would never repair itself. That's repaired itself.
They just make shit up and pocket the fucking dosh and laugh at us all.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. Well, I think the problem that people get mixed up is pollution in plastics. Now, let's face it.
Yeah.
We all want to see an end to plastics. Now, there was an Australian company that devised a way to turn that plastic back into its base core. In other words, use it again. Didn't matter what plastic it was, didn't matter whether it was recyclable, ones that had got the recyclable, all plastic, it could turn it back into its core thing. So reuse it, clear it up. Now, I watched the video on YouTube, and the British government has invested in it. They said it openly. It's an Australian company, because the Australian government wouldn't invest in it. So the British government did. Now, what has happened to that? And why aren't we hearing about that? Why are we still piling plastics off to China? That goes, get it shoved into the sea, and let's cause this pandemic of plastic floating all around the world. Come on, wake up. Stop shoveling.
You know what? I've had a funny thing that's just crossed my mind. And I think these people aren't really after us. They're not really going to help us at all, are they, these people?
Well, my thought is why aren't we capitalising off the stupidity of others?
Because they
Or
capitalize
the silence.
You know, with all this like recycling and everything, right? What I fail to understand is, why did we go away from paper and glass? I mean,
Well,
No idea.
glass milk bottles can be recycled.
Too
They can be washed out
reusable.
and fucking melted down, reused. Paper can be reused,
Because-
recycled.
Because of companies, it was more convenient for them to use plastics.
Right. So,
well, not only that, you'll think about it, yeah. I go away in a truck. Can you imagine trying to put a glass bottle with me? It'd probably get broke before it even got to work. So it's convenient for me. But, yeah, I get the point. But the point of the matter is we can create plastics that are fully recyclable. So why aren't they doing it? Well, it's plain and simple. Because it doesn't pay for them to do that. It's cheaper to make one use, as they put it. Simple as.
And
Yeah.
more profitable.
but I mean, I had something like most of these plastic milk cartons and everything. The only thing that's recyclable on them is the cap, and the majority of the plastics can't be
They
recycled.
do tell you to detach it, don't they? And then, because if it's attached, apparently, they can't wash them out. It doesn't go through the machine. So every one of them that you put the cap back on doesn't go through.
Well, it's like that. For a long time, everybody was throwing black plastic containers for recycling. But apparently, the machine couldn't couldn't spot the black plastics. So now, if you notice, a lot of you know ready meals and that.
Fucking racist.
Grey, white, they're not black anymore. You know? So it's
Racist. Bigots.
like,
Philip, you
But-
Nazi.
They just
but the point. So,
It's been discovered recently that, you know, what you're saying about piling plastics into the sea. If you actually, there's about 3 or 4 main areas where the plastics circulate within the oceans, and it's all to do, you know, with the tides and everything else. And you'd imagine, from looking at it from a satellite picture, because so that the Earth's this big, and you get one about 5 pence a piece, 5 pence a piece. You think, well, fuck me, that's going to be awful. But it's only 4 parts per million, and it's really okay. It is bad, of course it is, but also what has been discovered. So you could swim through it, and you won't be swimming through. Like you look at beaches, and they've got loads of shit on them. It's nothing like that. These global collection areas within the oceans that just happen to happen because of the tides and the currents.
Near the plug hole.
But what they've also has been discovered recently is that there are organisms that are now devouring and living within the plastic and devouring it naturally.
Yeah, but that's getting into the food chain because...
Oh, 100% I agree with you, mate. Yeah, because already it's been proven that babies are being born with plastic in their bloodstream because they got it from the parents.
When
Well,
she starts entering the food chain, you got serious problems. I still don't understand why we can't use glass. And I mean, okay, glass bottles ain't the best thing for putting into a cab or something like that, but you could always buy a fucking metal fucking flask or something, couldn't you?
Well, it's not that. The reason why they use plastic, and I know this is going to sound stupid, they use less energy to create a plastic bottle than to make a glass bottle.
Right. I understand, right, that principle, yeah? But when the majority of the glass bottles can just be washed out, steamed, and fucking disinfected, there is no fucking production required.
Well, that's it. But take a look at
returns on your bottles. 25p is allowed.
Exactly. I mean, that used to be an incentive for you not to smash the fucking bottle, to take it back to the shop.
Yeah.
You take a crate back, you get a fucking free drink, whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But the fact is, you didn't have the fucking foundries melting the glass to fucking blow new bottles. You didn't need to. I mean, obviously you're going to get breakages, so you will have that happen. But surely the fucking amount that come back has got to offset the amount that it costs you to produce.
Well, no, that was the main problem. Don't forget that this climate thing has been going on for years. And for years and years, we've cut back on using stuff like coal, oil, and things like that. You think of the amount of oil that we used to use in the power stations. We don't now. I think, is there any left? I don't know. There might be one that actually, I don't think, a matter of fact, I think it's shut. The last oil burning one is shut. That were in UK.
1 second.
And the coal burning power stations, I think they're trying to shut them all, aren't they? But there's still a few left, and the reason being is because we haven't. Our government has failed us. To be quite honest, they're shoving
because there's still shit there, isn't there?
Well, we still got coal burning power stations because of the so-called green agenda, which isn't green. Because let's face it, we've been told by the Dutch, who did a study on the North Sea wind farms, and don't forget that this is one of the biggest ones in Europe, that it will never ever get back the amount that it created in CO2s. Never. So why are we going headlong in? Oh, it's because we need to have them as part of our mix to stop climate change. No. If you're...
We've learned, haven't we, that one volcano eruption is more than man has ever made in its history. Just one volcano eruption.
Yeah, but the point is, like I'm saying, is one
bomb volcanoes.
Concrete base, the cost and amount of CO2 that comes off of the making of these turbines, and these turbines cost a fair whack. They never generate enough money for them to claw it back. And this is why, and when I hear the government say, no, we can't we can't help you with the cost of living crisis. Yeah, you can. One, you can reduce the 30%, and you can lower the VAT down to 0 on gas and electric, because they are a must thing. Without gas and electric, you can't cook, you can't eat, you can't keep your house warm. And they are stuffing us with lies about how much it actually costs.
Yeah, they want the. Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say it's because they want the VAT money because they've realised they've fucked up with the lockdown that we had over the virus, and they have to make up the amount of money that the government spent and lost of telling people to stay home instead of going to work. The economy's effed.
There's a thing that I ain't fucking quite getting my head around, right? Because when I started looking at the maths to fucking see how many years it would take us to pay off the amount of money that we borrowed, right? We was talking like fucking hundreds of years now. You know what I mean? Like 300-400 years it's going to take us to pay back the debt that we borrowed. Just for that period of where we was paying for everybody's fucking wage to stay at home, right?
So it's keeping us in servitude in perpetuity.
Yeah,
and
but what I can't understand then
already.
is then how all of a sudden we've got 2.5 billion quid to give to the fucking Ukrainians. We've just spent £500,000 on Richie Sunak's fucking PR stunt. I mean, for £500,000, how to make yourself not look like a cunt to the public. I'll give it to you free. Don't spend £500,000 when every other cunt can't afford to run the fucking house to keep them warm or fucking keep the lights on. That's how you fucking increase your PR. Don't be a cunt. Anyway.
Well said. Well said.
Fucking,
right.
You know, the government is spending left, right and fucking centre. And I'm going, hang on a minute.
Yeah, on everyone else.
We're only producing so much money. Our GDP is only so much, and you've already got us tied for the next 300 fucking years to pay back this debt.
I think our GDP is 22.
Yeah, they've committed your grandkids to debt.
Yeah,
our population is more than Canada, New Zealand, somewhere else, and somewhere else combined.
Yeah,
we're tiny.
Carlo and I were looking at it. Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday?
Yeah, but these were
the GDPs, and
it's probably more now because the studies that we were looking at was 2019, and don't forget this was during lockdown. England's GDP was 1.9 trillion, and that was in 2019. In total, I think,
and the UK's was 2.09 trillion.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. It wasn't, you know.
But like, you know what I mean? But with 2 trillion plus in debt, and we're giving money away like it's
confetti.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sorry to say this, and I know people are going to have a go at me. I think it's time we went, hang on a minute. We have people living on the street. We have people queuing up. I mean, get a load of this. People are queuing up at these food banks, and if it's fresh veg, they're not taking it because they can't afford to cook it. What the hell? They can't afford to cook. Serious? I read it yesterday, didn't I tell? When we were looking all through.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I couldn't believe it. People are turning down fresh veg because they can't afford to cook it. That is appalling, that.
Well,
while
we're fucking touching on this subject, right? Of like, maybe we should take care of our own before sending fucking loads of money off everywhere fucking else, yeah? Why don't we start with exactly that? All the illegal fucking immigrants who keep on fucking dingy diving in there, I don't even know why they're allowed to set foot on the fucking soil before they're being shipped off and fucked off. They shouldn't be.
Should have been classed as an invasion.
It's illegal. It's in the fucking title.
Invasion.
Well,
fuck off.
Imagine this, right?
Plain and simple.
I turn up, for some apparent reason, let's say I get on a ferry, manage to get on a ferry, and I end up at France, and and they said to me, well, where's your passport? And I go, I got one. What do you think they're going to do to me? They're going to say, right, sit in there and when next ferry comes, stick him back on it and over he goes. Because he ain't got a passport. Simple as. So why aren't we sticking these fuckers back on the ferry on next trip?
Yeah.
And
if you want to go if you want to go to France,
sending them back.
You got to fucking get onto a fucking boat. Before you get on the boat, though, you got to check your PCR test or your lateral flow test. You got to do all this fucking signing of paperwork, all this so they can track your every fucking move. These cunts pop over on a fucking dinghy, drop onto the fucking beach, get put in a 4-star fucking hotel. How many of them have to do fucking all that testing?
Seriously, mate, I wanted to go for a fucking operation a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, it got cancelled, unsurprisingly, via the NHS. And they said, right, you got to do a lateral flow test X amount of days before, then the day before, and then you got to log onto the government website. Now, hang on. What about if I don't have any internet access? What then? No, nothing. Silence. Righto. Cheers.
Yeah, it's just bollocks. I mean, we need to stop sending. I don't even know why we're fucking bothering with the Ukraine now.
Why are we giving France money to stop the refugees coming across? Because they come across on the beach. There are French cops there. Yeah. They hand them to the French Navy. Yeah. Who hand them to Border Force, who dock them.
Yeah.
I mean, why are we giving them money? Are we giving them money to do this?
Yeah, let's just say it wouldn't be the first time that we've seen a politician, right, give money to fucking oppose her own or their own fucking policy, would he? Hashtag fucking Priti Patel. And British Patriot.
Gives money to all the opposition people and goes, well, they're blocking it. But they wouldn't be able to block it if you didn't give them money, you dumb bitch.
I mean,
and I'm sorry, that Uganda thing, sending them back to
Rwanda,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Come on, what is it? Oh, it's all right. It's the purse of the poor public. Oh, it's all right. Let's have a good old piss up down local at taxpayers' expense. It's endless. You know, our pockets are endless. Yeah, too right, they're endless. People are struggling to pay their electric bills, put food on the table for the kids, going without meals. All right. So, but they're starving in their country. What the fuck do they think's happening in our country? Where parents are going without meals so the kids can have meals and the kids are still missing meals. Now, this is wrong. And if our politicians don't wake up and say, yeah, maybe we're right, what are we going to do? What can we do?
Why do you think that they have fucking kids' school meals for fucking, people who are on the dole or fucking low-income families and everything else?
Yeah, but it's not
scrapping that. Stop the unvaccinated kids from getting it.
No, the question is, why do you think they do that?
But the problem is, it's not just the low-income families that are now struggling.
I know that, but the question is, why do you think they do that? It's because they know that them fucking kids, that's probably the only hot fucking meal they're gonna get that day.
Yeah.
Right? Now, is that as a fucking mentality and a starting block of, well, at least we feed the fucking kids at least once a day? You know what I mean? You know, whoa. Let's look at these fucking MPs, yeah?
They weren't
How
even
many fucking meals do their kids get a day?
Yeah, they'll not be on
Here, there was school children where they were not allowed to wear, this is in the winter time, they weren't even allowed to wear their own coats. They needed to be branded school wear. I'm not kidding you, during all this COVID shit. You cannot make the stupidity and the authoritarianism of what we're now against.
Yeah, I remember that.
Putting kids in bubbles.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
No, when you think about it, the government has mismanaged. And we're not just talking about Conservatives here. Labour are just as bad.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And Lib Dems, because they, for some apparent reason, decided to think it was a good idea to go into partnership with the Conservatives. You know, but hell, they did. So they've got
Same cheeks to the same half.
Yeah, and Alice, yeah, fucking too true.
Right. So, but at the end of the day,
Who the fuck is Alice?
the amount of disconnect from real knowing their voters and seeing how their voters are living. Why don't I tell you what we need to do? We need to say to these politicians, right, you want these boat people to stay in this country, you're going to put them up in your houses. You've got spare rooms. Here you go. Here's a couple there. I mean, Gary Lineker found out what it was like, didn't he? He didn't like that much.
Apparently, his wife has had to sign. Again, this could be just internet rumours. Forgive me, but apparently his wife had to sign an NDA with him, never to discuss again how bad the fucking cunts were.
What made me laugh is the letter that they wrote, thanking him and everything, was in perfect fucking English and great handwriting. Oh, yeah, that was really opera.
They weren't refugees, they were, but 50 years ago.
But like it's like they're pushing an agenda. It's like these electric cars, and we said it the minute they started pushing it. We're like diesel. Everybody fell for it, but let's face it, diesel ain't as bad as they make it out to be. But they're pushing these electric cars, and now they've come out with this crap that the tyres are causing more pollution and diesel engines.
Okay then.
I drive a
I
lorry.
can't breathe. It's tires.
Shut up and pay.
Well, I could understand if the Mandelas was involved.
You know what I mean?
The Mandelas.
It's just short of interdimensional space area.
Yeah, you can't make this shit up. They must think we're all cabbages. Yeah, it's good, yeah. Oh no.
Mandela, with a tractor tires, a family pack.
Right. But like it's like, you know, yeah, they use more tires. We know that. But let's find a solution into recycling them properly. You know, surely. But if you look, they've already found out how to do it in America.
Hang on. When you said they use more tires and more particulates coming off, blah blah blah.
Yeah, batteries are heavy.
Isn't that as we already said it? Okay, so you got a fucking petrol Range Rover or something along those lines, and then you got a small SUV. You got a very small car that's electric. Who's going to be putting more weight on the road?
The smaller car.
Well, what, including the bigger car that's got a tow bar with a towing capacity that can put more fucking weight on it and more tyres and...
Yes. Right, I'll explain.
Should we fucking care, though?
Hang on. Yeah, we should care, because I'll tell you exactly why. Because if they get this fucking tyre tax coming in, do you really think they're going to stop at just electric fucking vehicles?
That's not what I meant. I mean, should we care about fucking... how heavy a vehicle is or particulates coming off tires? That's bullshit.
They're destroying the environment and causing climate change.
Right. But
it's like acid rain. It's fucking bullshit, man.
Right.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. The thing, what we say is that electric cars will go through a set of tyres for say, my car, which is not an electric car.
Why did you have to emphasise it then?
When you need him.
Right.
Look, Tony, we all know it's a little electric car.
No, it's not a little electric car. You can bog off. It's got a diesel engine at front, and it has AdBlue, which then sticks to particulates that stick to the road. Now, we all know what happens, you know, but we won't go into that at the moment. But even that fact, my car will go through one set of tyres compared to their 2 or 3 sets because of the weight. Don't forget these battery packs have to have a bulletproof.
Hang on. Mate.
Yeah, they are heavy.
Do you have any? Because I'm not disbelieving you, but I could say you're wrong, but I've got no evidence to back that up. But,
Like 2 or 3 engines in there, probably.
Well, for one starters, my car is actually a lot lighter.
Hang on, doesn't it depend upon how you drive it as well, though? You know.
No. Right. Look at a lorry. That I can prove. Yeah. I've got a lorry, and I have a trailer attached to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a red lorry?
No, it's a white one.
Not a yellow lorry.
No,
or a green
one. Right. If you put a lot of weight on it, you're going to go through a set of tyres a lot quicker. So, if you're only running X amount of weight on that trailer, not only do you save on fuel, but don't forget, as that tank empties, diesel tank empties, it gets lighter.
Okay, yeah, I'll go with that.
And
With an
more
electric car, it's that weight all the time. And what a lot of people forget and know, that electric cars, when they go, you know, it's just the batteries. It's not just the batteries, because they have a cooling system to keep the batteries low. So you've got that weight. Yeah, these engines have a cooling system.
Yeah, but
don't forget,
what about if they have helium in the tyres?
that don't work either. That's a load of garbage.
Oh, it cost me £4 per tyre to have helium put in.
Still going to mention about the heavier people sitting in the car. They're going to charge for heavy people now.
Chitty bang bang.
I want to fuck that off.
Chitty bang bang.
It's making him claiming as a fucking passenger all the time.
But not only have they got the batteries, they've got a bulletproof case, because obviously if hope comes up from underneath them, it's got to be able to stop it going into batteries, because we all know what happens when something penetrates these batteries.
Yes, Liz, they are really bad for catching fires, and it is a nightmare to try and extinguish them if they ever do, the lipos. It's
and can you touch them while they're blowing up? Because even the F1 cars, if there's certain things going on, they're not allowed to touch the fucking car. So
you never feel again, but you can touch them.
Ban fatties from driving. There'll be most truck drivers off the road. Paz says, sorry I'm late to the party. Climate change is natural event. Yes, mate, it is. You know what I mean? We are on the same page. Fucking shit changes in the fucking atmosphere in the world naturally. It always has done, always will do. I can't see what we've done to make that change any quicker.
But acid rain, man.
They can make money on it.
We've done nothing.
They can make money on it. That's what I thought of, and they've been doing it since I was born.
So we've had all these extra cars and lorries put on road, yeah, and extra trains and whatnot, right? But they're cleaner than what we used to have.
Fucking right they are. Did you see the smoke that used to come out the back of those fucking cars?
Yeah. There's videos of it on YouTube as well. People can't see it.
You know, like Thomas the Tank Engine.
You think about all the houses now that don't burn coal. You think about all the houses that are on gas or electric. I mean, I feel sorry for them to have electric. That's,
the heat pump con.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
And so, I mean, I remember as a young kid seeing smog in the morning. And I'm not that old, so before anybody's
He's talking about the 1870s.
Hang on. It wasn't smog, it was a low-level mist.
He was Mary fucking Poppins's mate.
I'm sorry, Callow.
Well, let's just have it right, though. I mean, he does take a shower with the morning dew off the leaves. You know what I mean?
That's a hobby to me. It's a hobby.
We have seen tons and tons of changes. We've got cleaner as we've gone along, but they're still now trying to push that we've got to do this. And let's put it like this. I watched a video not long back, and they were talking about certain parts of the Sahara Desert would eventually start growing greenery again. Once that planet tilts back on its axis, water will return to it. And he admitted that, but he had to throw in, just to really do it, that they didn't know when it would happen because climate change is slowing that process down.
Got to
Did you mention Noah?
No.
Oh, dear. So, according to Free Range and Feral, food shortages and digital passports, fatties will be a thing of the past. Fucking ask you.
I know, that's not nice, is it?
Well, you ain't that fat. You're just short. But what I have noticed, you've only got into this video for 3 minutes, man. You've only done 3 minutes and just done 40 minutes.
Shut up, faggots, and play the video.
Right.
Yeah, let's watch Candice.
Hang on, I need a piss. I want to watch this. So don't.
It's all right for everybody in the fucking world watching this. Like, fucking
look over there.
Tiny needs to go for one.
Yeah. Don't forget you're on camera. Yeah, we don't want a wanky pass like CNN.
Well, go on then, if you go in.
Oh, my days.
Okay, now. He's settled for evening then, hasn't he? Fucking hell.
Timing's everything.
I'll tell you something though, he'll be back in 2 seconds because it'll only be a little piss.
Anyway, are we live yet?
Yeah, we got any sponsors this week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What sponsors have we got this week? Well, whilst we're in an intermission waiting for short arse.
Caldera.
I'm not good at doing these things. You can do it.
Bonnie.
Right, I'm back.
Aha.
Oh, thank God.
Oh,
well.
Timing's everything.
I guess we'll deal with...
yeah, sponsors at the end, I think. Yeah, keep watching till the end. Yeah.
Let's see what else she's got to say.
There are some that don't get paid to go on TV. There's some that are not Bill Nye, who are not funded scientists. And that has been a whole...
Well, Bill Nye's not a scientist.
I know.
He's not. He's
it broke my heart when I found out.
Science
mouthpiece.
Propagandist.
Yeah, but that's the point.
He's a science. No, that's not a good word.
I don't think Al Gore is a scientist.
He's not.
Right.
But Bill Nye is like a science influencer or a science entertainer.
Yeah, he's like a...
But he doesn't have a background in actual science. He's not a scientist. He's not a PhD.
I learned about him in school. Everything I did in science had to do with Bill Nye.
Well, he promotes science, and science is not bad.
Yeah.
But the real problem is with climate change is that, for sure, there has been ups and downs throughout the history of this planet. They're observable. They follow them in. I mean, it was one of the subjects that I had earlier today with Dr. Robert Schoch. In 2014, the vast majority, 87% of scientists, said that human activity is driving global warming, yet only half the American public ascribe to that view. So,
well, what website is
87%, and this is
Scientific American.
Yeah.
Yeah, .com though, because that means it's making money. I don't trust that. If it was a .org, I would probably take that. But this is just a random website, and I don't trust.
Scientific American is not necessarily a random website.
I don't believe this at all. Just so you know.
You don't believe it at all?
I genuinely don't believe it. I know you do, but I genuinely don't believe it.
I believe most of the time the consensus of scientists that are studying the data.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
So what they're doing is
but you remember all of the stories that came out about the scientists that said that when they tried to present their evidence to show, they were basically getting shut down at every corner.
Oh,
you can pull that up too, scientists who look up the opposite. Right? Instead of looking for what you're searching for, looking for what you're not looking for.
I didn't search for it. That's what I found when I searched it.
Sorry.
So what?
Well, Joe Rogan he's an entertainer. He's not like clever.
Anyway.
It's a moron.
Let's watch.
Yeah,
look up.
But this is my question. Why are you so sure? This is an
because what you just said. Because what you just said.
This is an extremely complicated subject.
And it is. I said I am not so sure that I would die on the hill for it.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion right now, and is just that it was a means, because forget the fact of whether you believe global warming is real. Let's say it's 100% real. Let's say we know for a fact it's real. Is there a way...
Well, let's just be clear.
Yeah.
Global warming, climate change is definitely possibly reuse it. There's all sorts of things that people are trying to do.
Well, Has anybody else heard anything about this fucking pulling carbon out of the atmosphere?
Oh, is he a flat?
Yeah, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
I've watched a documentary on it over 5 years ago. It was somewhere in California that had this massive facility.
Like vents and stuff.
And how viable is it?
Yeah, like mesh vents, like acoustic tiles, if you like. There was like take the air and then reuse it.
Was Mystic Meg involved?
We're gonna have to have a serious amount of fucking airflow to filter out the fucking carbon, which is then going to create more carbon by powering the fans and everything else that's going to be needed to purify the air. Yeah, this sounds like one of the fucking windmill winners, doesn't it?
Hang on. For we've already got a system for doing that.
Trees.
It's been there for billions of years.
Trees.
And it's called the seas.
The sea is the largest collector and storer of carbon dioxide that we have.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and they've been doing it with some of these coal and gas burning power stations. They've been trapping it in water. Now, stop me if I'm being wrong, but don't our plants need both water and carbon? So why don't we decide, right, say at night time plants, that's when they create oxygen and then they intake the carbon, yeah? So why don't we spray this water that's full of carbon onto these plants?
As we're going live now,
common sense, really, isn't it?
As we are live now, we've got Prince fucking William talking outside Buckingham Palace about climate change, saying this is a Queen's Jubilee, and as a planet is so precious to preserve her memory, we need to do more about climate change right now.
Go talk to your plants.
Hang on.
Well, remember what they were doing. Remember what they were doing as a fuel.
Oh, fuck.
Their fuel for their solar was fucking biomass, they called it, which actually was fucking trees. They were cutting down trees to fucking burn.
Yeah, Tony Garrett, if only there was a solar-powered carbon filter that gave oxygen as a byproduct. If only there was such a thing.
Yeah, but you've got to be careful here and all. If we
plants and trees and all things good.
Unreal.
Cut it all out like they want us to do. Was it net zero? How they're going to manage that, I don't know.
Unbelievable.
If you cut it out, don't forget trees do create oxygen, and we have to have a rate that we can actually take the oxygen in. Because if there's too much oxygen in, then we die. So just remember that.
Right.
Well, the extinct rebellion do want to extinct us, don't they?
As we've already said, volcanoes more than us. Anything that we do is fucking irrelevant anyway.
Cows.
Mother Nature's gonna fucking sort it. Unless it's
don't get on with fucking cows. Everybody farts. Poor fucking cow.
Yeah, but I mean, fucking hell.
You dirty person, you're killing all the cows.
I do believe fucking cows fart more than what you fucking do.
That'll be fucking good. If I had a competition with a cow, I'd win. Definitely.
Mm.
And you've only got one stomach, and they've got fucking four.
Cow shit is a good fertilizer. And now that we're not getting fertilizer from the Russians, it's time to invest in spraying fields with cow manure.
Right. Many years.
The old days.
Hang on.
Yeah,
many years ago, a friend of mine built this contraption for Bernard Matthews. And what they did, they put all the stuff in one end, extracted the methane out of it, and what came out was stuff they used to chuck on fields. Methane less, and they used to use that methane to run the generators, to run the chicken coop, fans and things like that, and lighting. Now, if we were doing that years ago, why aren't we doing it now? Why have we stopped all of a sudden? What's that tell you?
And I also used to remember
in the world.
No,
the thing that
there'd have been a politician somewhere that had brought up some red tape, that had made some quango, that made doing all that shit now illegal to do because, it'd benefit you. I don't know if you've
I used
noticed,
to remember the term chicken shit. It ain't worth chicken shit. Well, they're actually selling chicken shit now.
Yeah, I've actually fallen victim to that one.
But like, you think about it. You know, you got cow shit. Get it up, stick it in a thing, get the methane from it, create energy. Simple as.
You mean you want to create an explosive, potential explosive thing?
Terrorists.
You know what I mean?
Allegedly.
That's what it comes down to, isn't it? Somebody somewhere will go, no, you can't do that because it's potentially hazardous fucking explosive.
Yeah, when someone think of the children.
Yeah.
And let's look at this climate change thing with storage. We've got rid of all gas storage. Because our government's decided, well, we're part of Europe. Hang on. Time to start investing money in gas storage and let's start doing a bit of fracking. Come on. You know, that'll reduce climate, won't it? Because we're not transferring it across oceans. We're not.
Exactly that. I heard, it's that American guy, Senator Lindsey Graham. So what I find amazing,
Rhino,
down all of our production, exactly the same. It mirrors the UK. He said, and then, so what do we do? Buy it from elsewhere, and they use 8,000 litres per hour to get to us.
Yeah.
It's insanity.
Fucking Tony's trying to fuck me up, ain't he? If there was more hedgerows around the farmland, there would be more organophosphates, or whatever. Read what he says. Being dropped into the soil. Right. Fucking, I'm surprised I even managed to read that, let alone you know how to fucking spell a word that long. I mean, if you had that in Scrabble, fuck me. You'd win, wouldn't you?
Does he mean bird shit?
Over a triple word.
He's on about organic phosphates.
Oh, well, yes, so that'd be bird shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or anything organic.
As phosphorus.
Amongst others, yeah.
Oh, wait.
He ain't word bird shit.
But yeah. Fucking. Oh, do we want to watch some more of this?
Yeah. Let's go for it.
God. Go on then.
Oh. Fuck.
And we had what was the young man who made that device? Boyan Slot. He figured out a way to make this device that pulls plastic out of the oceans. They're figuring out a way to.
That's important.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, well, because plastic just can't over time. But that's what I mean. Like, so when I say that I'm I believe in recycling. Like, I'm not like a person that's like this is. But the idea that the government is just going to take trillions of dollars because we're in some agreement where we're all agreeing that we should do something is useless. And look, from the stuff. Like, there's obviously a lot of debate here, and as I said, like, I'm not so. The one thing you'll always find with me is I'll never pretend to be so educated on something. Like, I'm not going on college campuses talking about global warming. I don't do that.
Right, but why are you saying that you don't think it exists?
I don't know. Maybe because it got because it got so politicized.
Studies into scientific agreement on human-caused global warming, and look at all the studies. It's between 100% and 91% at the lowest. 91% of one of the studies from 2014.
The Union of Concerned Scientists.
Yeah, they almost. It's a pretty broad consensus.
Who are they polling?
Beaker.
Is it the people that are a part of this? .org. That's
what I said to her because she didn't know anything about it. She shouldn't have an opinion. But yeah, here's this guy, and I keep saying this, when all these people ram this climate change down, how much of that evidence have you actually taken and done it yourself? So, I don't know, testing soil for whatever. They don't. They take it from somebody else, and then they stick it there and say, right, that proves that bit there. Then they get away with
they reference Wikipedia, don't they, as their reference? Or Reuters.
They don't check the evidence that they are using themselves, and yet they're quick to say, well, what evidence have you got? Well,
yeah, if you see a fact checker fact-checking anything, you know it's true.
Hmm.
Especially if they work for Facebook.
Yeah, go on. Carry on.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's their opinion.
But
do we carry on, or you gonna fucking off again, are we?
sorry, we could be here all night.
Oh, fucking hell. Well, I've done 9 minutes of this video and it's took me an hour up to yet.
Go on, get paid.
I'm asking. That just numbers can
306 scientists to confirm over 97% of climate scientists agree, and over 97% of the scientific articles find that global warming is real and largely caused by humans.
Right.
So my question to you is, if you want to step outside of the scientific consensus,
right,
which is vast and involves 10,306 scientists, and just say, I don't believe in it,
yeah,
even if you're right, if you're right, you don't have enough information to say.
Right, what he's talking about there, those 10,900 odd scientists, he's talking about the IPCC report that listed these 10,000 odd scientists. Does anybody remember any of this?
Yes.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
And they're all paid.
Are you saying they were all bought?
Paid and linked.
Those they were included in the bibliography in the back. And you go through that, they had caretakers, outside contractors. They also had scientists, real scientists in there that were going, what the fuck? I don't agree with this shit. What the fuck you my name on there for?
On that. And actually do all the work to actually prove what was saying with a lot of the bollocks.
Also, that gets onto Brian fucking Wankstein Cox, Professor.
The Cox.
Promoting optic graph when he knows it's fucking false, and it was proven false a few years ago in court. It's taken years for it to get to court, but it finally.
Him and David.
And the guy that said all of this is true, I've got all of the data to back it up, said, actually, no, I don't have any data at all. Yeah, bollocks.
They put it into a computer program, didn't it? But like I said, if you put shit in, you're going to get shit out.
Exactly.
Yeah, well,
Who says no?
I'm just looking at the comments there. This is getting frustrating. Fucking, we won. Notice how there wasn't fact checkers until we didn't play along with what they wanted us to. Tony, Germany had a consensus in 1933 of who should lead their country. How did that turn out? Question mark. Iran, fucking on the money again, dude. Joey's the guy who took ivermectin when the scientists said it didn't work. Oh,
well,
so
we only got the
he's all for scientists when it suits him.
There wasn't anything that could go against it, wouldn't it? That's why they demonised ivermectin and hydrochloroquine.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, right, here he's saying the scientists are saying this. Well, the scientist says that ivermectin was a horse tranquilizer and you shouldn't be taking it. But fucking went against science then, but now all of a sudden...
I wonder if Candace will bring it up.
I fucking doubt it, but, you know, good point.
Yeah. Well, then, press play. Let's see if we can actually finish the video.
Most of those so-called scientists are union being paid pro-climate change companies to twist the facts. Yeah. Fact checkers was only fucking bought out for the mainstream narrative. Crack on.
Yeah,
Say
it was
that.
a fact
right.
check.
No,
You might
but
be
that's why I
correct.
said this is the whole
But you're
point.
saying you don't believe it.
I would have to have someone sit down and convince me that it was real. I personally don't believe it. That's okay.
But why?
It's good to start
but
at a
here's the
place of
thing.
not believing something.
No, it's not.
You think you should start with believing everything.
No, it's not believe either or.
Yeah,
not believe yes, not believe no.
Yeah.
But don't say you don't believe.
Yeah.
Learn about it.
Yeah.
Learn about it and then have an opinion. But you're stating this opinion without having any real understanding of
Right.
what climate
Well, yeah,
science is.
but that's exactly what an
Yeah.
opinion is. I'm not going, like I said, if you said that, Candace, you went on to 10,000 college campuses and you said that global warming wasn't real, then we'd have a problem. You and I are just having a conversation.
Yeah, but why have an opinion on something that you don't have data about? This
Right.
is my question. Like,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have an opinion on
Right.
climate science. I really don't.
Yeah.
Because I don't know much
Yeah.
about it. But what I
My
do know
yeah.
is that what I've read is that the vast majority of people who study it are in agreement that human beings are affecting
so
it.
I just my recall on a lot of things that I read, and this was a while ago. So this is when I first formed my opinion on not believing this. I read a shit ton of articles. Can't recall the data because, like I said, this wasn't something I was super passionate about. It was like somebody posted something, and then I went on like a tear reading about it. But it was essentially just noting that in a lot of these studies, like when you go and if we had time to sit down and really pull this up, they're polling, 10,000 scientists that are within a community that is like these .orgs. Do you believe in everything that MediaMatters.org puts out for statistics? Right, that's a political arm of the Democratic Party.
Talking about a different subject.
I know, but
politics versus science.
But this has been politicized. That's the thing.
Science has been politicized.
Yes, it has. Global warming in particular has been politicized. 100% it has been politicized. Right. That's the whole reason I fell down this dark hole one night reading about it, and I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, I don't really care.
It has been politicized, but I think that's also maybe why you're saying you don't agree with it so quickly.
Right.
Because it's an ideological right-wing point.
Right.
Is that global warming isn't real.
Right.
If you're one of those people that thinks global warming isn't real, you're almost always on the right.
Right. And that's fine. But I'm telling you that, like, again, I didn't do a deep dive on all of this because I read about it because it was at a forefront of discussion. So I read about it all night. And my conclusion was that they started pulling up all of these studies from the person that, did this that I did a deep dive on. And they started showing how, like, these community of scientists were in fact somewhere behind that .org as someone that was being funded. So to me, the issue got too politicized for me to believe that global warming was something that was going to wipe out the world. Now,
scientists get funded. That is a fact.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that the funding affects the scientific research and the data, which they all agree on. And this is universally across the entire planet.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of scientists would not stake their...
Mate.
So,
how can you be so fucking stupid?
Yeah. I mean,
money never twisted any facts or data.
Well,
how can you say it?
Let's
Joe Rogan just told you.
If they got data that proved that global warming didn't exist, job done, innit? You're not getting money, are you? So what are you gonna do? I know what I'd do if my livelihood depended on me bullshitting and doing.
It's a lie to perpetually tax us.
Yeah. Come on, let's be serious.
I mean, he's playing a fucking straw man fucking argument. But anyway, right, let's fucking see about.
Night walkers at the.
Kicked off then anyway. So. I think Candice fucking held her own, most definitely. And I don't know whether he was being a dick for the sake of being a dick, or whether he was just playing devil's advocate.
No, not with what he said. But, come on, you can't be saying all these scientists are being paid to you can't be telling me those lies.
Well, at the end of the day...
you don't know what the fuck you're on about.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come on, man.
Yep.
Really? And then you back that up half hour later with, well, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
I know, but an expert for last hour, mate. Berating her.
The stream's unavailable on YouTube. It's been suspended for policy violations.
What?
I'll say.
No.
I've been embarrassed for saying fag.
We've been fucking... Why have we...
Policy violations of what?